Welcome, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for tuning in here at Spirit Matters. We're coming at you live from New York, although Jamuna Jai may be in Jersey. You're in Jersey?
I'm in Jersey right now.
She's across the river in New Jersey. My name is Dal Garunga. I'm here in Brooklyn. Jamuna Jai is tuning in live from Hoboken.
Up Jersey City.
Jersey City, but you live in Hoboken.
No, I'm Jersey City.
You've always been Jersey City?
Yeah.
Oh, but you teach in Hoboken sometimes.
Hoboken, yes.
Okay.
And ride my bike there.
For all of us in New York, New Jersey, just one big blob.
I know that. When I moved to New Jersey, my mother, who's a New Yorker, born and bred, she goes, "How's the weather out there?" And my mom, it's exactly the same weather that you get. So, yes.
Yeah, so she's somewhere into the abyss on the other side of the tunnel.
Yes.
And somehow you get Wi-Fi out there. It's amazing.
Yes, I know. Yes. And, there's electricity most days. And we have these things called cars that ride down our street most days, but not always.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And we're glad that you guys are being taken care of
Yes,
out there. Yes. My wife is from New Jersey, somewhere in the abyss.
In the abyss. She's even further into the abyss than I am.
People always say they're from Jersey. I'm like, oh, where from? As if I have any idea of New Jersey geography. Like, where are you from? I'm from Mitsalakachachin. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I know where that is.
Don't know.
Jersey names are either like reused British colony names or like long, extensive like Native American names. Yep. There's like Parsippany, and there's like a large variety of different types of cities and towns in Jersey.
Or there's the best name is West New York, New Jersey, which I just love. I'm like, it's so confusing. It's in New York, New Jersey, but it's literally West New York, New Jersey.
That's the whole name of the city?
Yeah. It's the name of the city is West New York.
The West is West New York, and it's in New Jersey.
Yeah. So West New York, New Jersey. And then we have the oranges. Orange. There's no North Orange. It's Orange, South Orange, East Orange, West Orange. So there's a whole bunch of, we have a little clump that's like colors, which is orange is my favorite color. So I like it there. So, yeah.
Okay. So now that we've got a full exposition on New Jersey, welcome to all of our New Jersey listeners. We're glad that you're able to tune in, and hope the connection stays strong for you. We're coming at you live, and we're so glad to have you as a guest this week, Jamuna. We had you the day before yesterday, and we'll have you again on Friday. And just before we go, how are you doing? How's your morning? How's your day?
I'm good. Wednesday is because I do so many different things for a living. Every day is a little different, but Wednesday is like a flex day. So sometimes I might be someplace, but today is going to be my Saturday day that I can get a lot of errands done and catch up on a lot of different things. So I love those kinds of days. So I'm very good. So back when I'm home and not like somewhere at a studio here and a stairway here at this time of day is a great thing.
Usually when I'm on a call or a class with Jamuna, she's on a bicycle.
I'm on my bike.
She's in an elevator. She's at the hospital.
Yeah. So here I'm home with my little Hanumans in the corner.
Job. She's putting on clown makeup.
That's right. There was one I was actually putting on. Yeah, now here I'm at home with Hanumans guarding the door. There he is. There's one in that corner, and then there's another one in that corner. So I'm at home
you are protected
with my guys that got me.
I would think I was in India. I would think of you so often. Every time I would see Hanuman, I'd be like, I should get that for Jamuna. I was like, she probably has a lot of Hanumans in her home.
Yeah, I do. I have those two over there. I have stuffed ones, one of which you gave me when we were closing out the gift shop.
Yeah. We got more for the gift store at the Bhakti Center. We were there. We bought more of all those plush Murtis of Hanuman and Krishna and all kinds.
I will soon possess them. I feel shop this week of it on. So I've got those two. I've got the plush two. I have a beautiful one that Bryn Chrisman gave me for my first initiation. Arjanavi Priti gave me this like graphic arts one that's in the bedroom. I have they're all over the place. I always say my husband has to put up with blue boys flying all around and monkeys all over the apartment. So I have about 4 t-shirts bearing Hanuman's face on it.
Your husband is amazing, man. We got to get him on the show sometime.
Good luck with that.
We're live with Jimmy.
He'd be like, camera off.
Jimmy, you have to unmute yourself and turn your camera on to be part
He's
of the
like,
show.
he'd be like, no.
He's just typing in the Zoom chat.
Yes. He's
Like,
like,
Jimmy, the audience can't hear you in the Zoom chat.
he's like, leave me out of this. Leave me out of this. Why does she talk about me so much?
we got you introduced us to Jimmy a little bit on Monday.
Oh, who put the monkey in? Yes, Molly Davy.
Yeah,
Oh, that is
we got pictures
cute.
in our Zoom chat here.
With the fire on his tail. What? That's awesome. I don't have that one.
Okay. If you're missing out, if you're just listening, you're missing out on our live Zoom chat here.
So cute.
Yesterday, Jamuna, or the day before, we were talking about what we wanted to get into today, and you were talking about where we left off on Monday. You're talking about looking at the question of what went right.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and that mood and approach to life. And you were starting to tell me about what you wanted to talk to me. And I said, wait, hold it.
No.
Save it for the podcast.
Let's go live.
Let's go live. And so I wanted to open up that door for you. And share that with us more in that meditation of approaching life from a mood of looking at what went right.
Yeah, I forget where that exact terminology, because I know I'm not smart enough to have thought it out. I know I heard it from somebody, but I live in an apartment, and upstairs my neighbors are devout Muslims, so I've always admired the Islamic tradition of that 5 times a day. You just stop. And I remember when I was in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, which are just, they have those great big malls because of that oil money, and there's all sorts of fancy shops. But when that call to prayer goes out, no matter where you are, everybody's like down on the ground, like praying. I
had direct experience of that. I flew to India. I went through Kuwait Airlines.
Yes.
And I was on the plane, and it was like, people were losing it because we were like, you're flying at different times. We're like, what time do we pray? And they're like, the pilot will announce the prayer time. And like the pilot was like announcing the prayer time, and everyone was like getting down on the aisles or singing. And it was like the whole plane turned into a mosque.
Yeah.
And then when we got to the airport in Kuwait, it was like there were like prayers announcing through the sound system. It was quite beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. And I always admire, like, you see the taxi drivers in New York City, they will pull over, they'll go to the trunk. They'll like, I've seen them like in 42nd Street, like on 7th Avenue, pull out their little prayer mat and fall down, do their prayers, and get back in and drive away. And I've always liked that different times of the day, just like, remember God, remember God, remember God, not just make it like at the beginning of the day, and then I let my day go on at the end of the day. And something that about, we always say we want to be grateful, but it seems like a bit like we teach that to our children, but like how? And so this what went right came to me. Like I sort of mentioned, my family had a really horrific year because of the health of my sister. And it did a couple of different things. It blew our minds because it was so tragic in a way, but it made us this illness that overtook my sister this past year. And it came so quickly because it was a disease of the mind. We were expecting her physical body to be what deteriorated. In fact, it was her mind, which is interesting on so many levels. I've got a lot of realizations about watching someone slide from being a research librarian to live in a diluted state 24/7. But in this year that has been materially very hard, what it made me do is really focus on the gifts that Krishna has given me every day, all the time. And so sort of halfway through last year, on one of those days when we were trying to figure out what to do, and I stopped and I said, okay, what went right just now? And when I stop all the time, what went right, you just see, you're blown away by how much does go right. And I was speaking last time about how I can look back and I can see the finger of Krishna like pushing me towards the right thing. And it makes me think of what Ranaswami says, to be humble is to be honest. And when you stop to see all the gifts you've been given every single day, all the time, it's got to humble you. And so I started doing that practice of like, I introduce it at the end of my yoga classes. As we're in Shavasana, if it's a morning class, I ask them to do five things that went right. If it's an evening class, I ask for 10. And just, it's always a reminder if it's those small things, and Krishna shows up in our lives sometimes in really big ways, but he's always there. I like what Achyuta Gopi says. It's like our transcendental bestie. He's just always like right there. And when you look at your life and really look at what goes right, he's I know he's the one behind it. I know that he's what's the ones that enabled it. And it makes me grateful, and it makes me humble, or it tends to be humble because I'm always praying to be more humbler. And then I always say that gratitude, humility, and service are triplets. If you're grateful, you're humble. And then if you're humble, there's only one thing you want to do with that, or I want to do with that anyway, is to want to be more of service. So this what went right. And it's also, I'll say one more thing, they'll shut up.
You're not supposed to shut up. That's what we're here for.
Okay.
Like, I'm done. I'm gonna stop talking. He's like, no, we came to listen to you speak.
So it was interesting. I did it with my family on Christmas Eve. We're that family. we get together on Christmas Eve. There were Christmas sweaters being worn. I always wear Christmas socks 365, so that's my Christmas decoration. But we sing Christmas songs. We do we do Christmas stupid poems on Christmas Eve, and I always like bring a game to play. And so I did that game of like, I gave everybody a piece of paper, and I gave everybody I think like just 3 minutes, and write down, think of things that what went right. And I did it intentionally to try to get my family to see that though we got sucker punched this last year. Oh, now we didn't get sucker punched. The material world is doing its thing. That's what's going to happen, But to help us to ground ourselves in gratitude about what we did have. And it was really interesting because my eldest brother, who's our family manager, like Michael gets stuff done. It's like, you want something, you call my brother Michael. He is on it. And he, in like 2 minutes, had 13 things that went right in this year. And
he was so proud. I got the most things that went right.
He did, because he was destined for the Olympics.
You as got a 13, runner. I got 14.
Yeah, he is like,
I'm making up stuff that went right.
Right. Because Michael will not be denied. My mother always says,
will not be denied.
He goes, your brother doesn't like to lose. I'm like, Mommy gets it from you, because that woman, if you beat her at Scrabble, which is rare, she will like,
flips
let's
the board.
Play again. No, practically she flips the board. But she'll like, even if she's saying, I have no time, she'll be like, we're going to play again now, because she is so...
Mom, that game just took 3 hours. Scrabble's not a quick match of tic-tac-toe.
Nope. No, Mama gonna play again, because this time Mama gonna win. She's like, and she will swear we're cheating. Like, no, Mom, we actually beat you, but she will not be denied, and neither will my brothers. So, but he came up with the most, and some of my there were a couple others. So there was some extended family there that like they were like, we got nothing. And I'm like, really? And we, it wasn't a time and place to speak in this way, but I found it so interesting because something that my Guru Dev always says, that gratitude is the breeding ground for any spiritual life. And something that, he said, and I always believe, because if you're not grateful, you can't be happy. It's just like, because if you're not grateful, you're entitled. And I always ask this question when I talk about it. It's like, has anyone ever met anyone who is entitled, who is truly happy? It's like a 2 + 2 = 5 equation. It just can't happen. And so gratitude is just really, Maharaj gives class on 7:30 on Wednesday morning. So I was just listening to him just a few minutes ago. And, in one way or the other, isn't it interesting that gratitude comes up again and again and again, because it really is like our baseline. Even in the Bhakti Center Bhagavatam class this morning, I log onto that and then I log off when Maharaj starts to speak. There's a woman, Andrea, who's just wonderful. You know, Andrea Dial. She's
of course
hosting Trinity, and she just got back, as did Leslie and Dina, just got back from the lovely retreat with Rukmini Walker.
And Stephanie.
And Stephanie was there too. So, boy, that sounds like that was a powerful retreat, yo. That sounds really great. And Ananda Bihari, who's our host for people don't know, and I know Dana K is always on there, asked her to give a reflection about the retreat, one thing. And it sounds like they did so many things, but the thing that she reflected back is that Rukmini Walker talked about gratitude, you know, about seeing the world through those eyes. And, you know, speaking about the Gita, it always makes me think, you know, when, you know, I always call them the I am of that, versus like when Krishna says, I am this of that, I'm you know, when you really look around the world and you see like that sky, that's Krishna. Like, thank you for that sky, that tree, that's Krishna, that piece of fruit. Raghunath Kapil goes off about fruit. I love when he goes like, an apple. It's like, it grows on the tree, you pick it, it's good for you, and there's stuff to make more of them inside. He'll go, did you make that apple, Percy? No. And it's, whenever he does it, I'm like, yes, the apple, the peach, right? And you just really think about like, oh God, like, yes, what an amazing thing. It's like an apple, and my favorite food, broccoli. It grows out of the ground. It's really cute. Wait, I even have a stuffed one here.
She happens to have a stuffed broccoli that she keeps for just such an occasion.
Let us remember that professionally I'm a clown, and sometimes I still do things on Zoom. So, or I've also got a stuffed radish for kicks and giggles. But you guys don't know. There's this. Yeah, there's right.
And she's pulling all of this out of a very small hat.
Yes, and a very small hat, and a very small car, and of course the giant scissors. Okay, so anyway, I mean, I could go on. It's all right. When you invite a clown to give class, yeah, there we go. Yeah, there's all sorts of things about.
I'm waiting for just like a massive elephant to come out of the screen.
There's all sorts of things. Yeah, it's like, I'll be giving Bhagavatam class, and this is what you need to know is like right below Bhagavatam class, all of this is going on.
Okay.
There's the fox. Yeah, there's other puppets below. So anyway.
Anyways, back to the apple in the sky.
And the back of the apple. But yeah, it's just that acknowledgement of the wonder of Krishna. And it makes me think of Anne Lamott, the writer. She's like really the only like secular writer I read.
Who is that?
Anne Lamott.
Anne Lamott. Not familiar.
Because anybody know her? She is deep. This woman is deep.
Googling.
Yeah, she's so interesting because she is a study in contrast. So in one hand, she's sort of politically as left as you could possibly be. And in the other hand, she is like a born again Christian. And in our culture, a lot of times those two things are at opposite ends of each other, right? The politically some would be right and stuff like that. And so she finds herself, and she writes about it, finds herself in two different worlds and people looking at her askance. But she writes with such deep realizations about things. And she has this skinny book that's called Help, Thanks, Wow. And it's only about this big. And she calls it the 3 essential prayers. And her chapter about what is prayer is awesome. It's just a few pages, but it's often. But she says, if you're only going to pray 3 times in your life, help, thanks, and wow. And she, and she calls poetry the official language of wow, which I always love. That in poems you find when people are trying to put to words things you simply cannot express. I always say, for me, when Jimmy and I were in Alaska and we saw Mount Denali, we were driving, and it was a beautiful, clear day. It looks like the day like Leslie's having there. And we came around the corner, and there was this. I mean, I've seen mountains before, but literally both of us, we literally both gasped. It literally took our breath away. And it was that moment of like, you can't, that for me, it was like, you can't tell me there's not something higher. Look at that. And so she writes deeply about this, finding the awe when we look at the grandeur, when we contemplate the broccoli or the carrot or whatever, when you really contemplate that and you walk through life with a sense of like, oh, and I think as I spent so much of my time with children, I see it all the time. Like I blow a soap bubble. It is literally Dawn dish soap and water. And it comes out, and the little ones' faces, they go from to, and then literally their faces make like, oh, it is, and they will. I've seen a kid just come out of surgery, be like all groggy, and you just blow one of these soap bubbles, and they're like, but because they've tapped into absolutely the wonder, and that is also what my job has taught me, is that the ability, like, kids don't stay in that state of like, oh, I'm in pain, it hurts so much. In an instant, they can be transformed. And Krishna says that, like, in an instant, we can be changed, because they like let that crap go and they tap into this, like, this wonder, this joy that they haven't, their brain, I always think their mind hasn't so captured them enough that they haven't like come fully to like rest in it, so they can get out of it maybe a little faster than we can. But yeah, this finding the wonder, it is to walk around and thinking, yeah, the abilities of man, even I've always loved that verse from the Bhagavad Gita, like the ability in man that even made glasses. I mean, it's so mundane, but like somebody had the idea that you're actually going to put a piece of glass in front of you, like the transparent by a medium, that some actually in front is going to help you see, right? Where the heck does that come from? Like who, where did the intelligence to make these little blessing and curse things? How did that happen? And so I, going back to the what I write, the gratitude, I find, for me, it really is the bedrock of everything else. Like when I stop to look, and that's what I always tell people, like with the what went right, even on my worst day. And I gotta say again, I mean, I always knew it, but like I've been saying, Krishna gave my family a massive kick in the behind this year. And there have been some really bad days. People always ask me, do you smile all the time? I'm like, I do smile quite a bit. I got to say, it is sort of my default. But there's been some days when I'm like, dog, I gotta. But when I stop and still remember, even on the worstest of worst days, like what I've been given and the lessons that I have been given through this challenging situation that my family has found itself in, I still got to be grateful and humbled and hopefully serve.
Yeah. I'm so appreciative of all of that. I have so many questions that I'm sad that I'm not going to be able to ask them for you tomorrow and I have to wait till Friday, but I'm going to hold these questions because I have so many beautiful questions about what that looks like. And it's such a beautiful way of looking at life. And at the same time, there are all of the challenges with that of like, how do I do that in certain life circumstances? And I think that life continuously makes that hard for us. And I think that's one of the things that I read here that somebody wrote in the chat was how much they love your energy, Jamuna, and how infectious it is and how beautiful you are in so many ways. And I think that that's a big key in it, is you have to surround yourself with people who have the mentality that you want to have towards life. And so I was almost like, how do I learn the art and practice of gratitude? I surround myself with grateful people.
Yep.
How do I learn to look for God's hand in my life rather than seeing chaos and meaningless, I surround myself with people who are also looking for and noticing God's hand in their life.
Yeah.
You know? And so when I surround myself with people who imbibe or are striving for the mentality of life that I want to have, then I'm in good company.
Yeah.
And I think, and I find that what's, you know, in the Gita, so often Krishna's just simply calling us towards this beautiful remembrance, as you mentioned, that humility is just honesty. And I think what it is, it's a constant, what the Gita is encouraging us to do is just become more attuned, more aware, more conscious about what's happening in our life, and not to take things for granted. You know, we have the idea of miracles. You do believe in miracles? And it's like, well, what's a miracle? A miracle is something that I just haven't seen before.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I see a miracle every single day, it stops feeling like a miracle.
Yeah.
And so the idea of all the things in life that we just take for granted because we see them every day and we can't explain. I remember one of my high school science teachers was telling me that science is really good at explaining the how, but we're not good at explaining the why. Why do things work that way? Like, why does gravity work the way that it does? Why does, you know, I can say, okay, I can look at something after it's already happened and I could observe and dissect it and explain what's going on. I don't exactly know why it's doing it that way, why the laws are set up the way that they are actually, you know, so many things of like, I know how a human body is formed and we can study biology, but like, I don't exactly know how a hair cell knows to start becoming a hair cell and how a nail cell knows to start becoming a nail cell. It's not a snail, but a cell. And so Kimberly wrote, the shared on wisdom of the sages, just because something happens routinely doesn't make it any less extraordinary. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think that what I'm hearing from you and what you're calling us and what Krishna's calling us in the Gita often is don't take the extraordinary for granted. And like you were mentioning in the very beginning, every day people from people of Islamic faith take that opportunity every day to step aside and remember divinity. And we're being called to do that in moment to moment action. And in the section of the Gita that we've been reading, if you tuned in yesterday, you'll tune in tomorrow, I'll be solo tomorrow and talking about the Gita. Krishna's talking about the way that we can perform skillful action is just bringing remembrance and consciousness and recognizing that things don't belong to me and I'm not the controller. I'm just a part of a much bigger system. So I love you so much, Jamuna. And again, I'm going to hold some of my questions for you for Friday. Tune in tomorrow. If you just want to have Jamuna skip tomorrow, it's going to be me tomorrow solo. And we're going to wait for Jamuna back on Friday. So I'm the substitute teacher tomorrow until Jamuna comes back on Friday.
Because tomorrow I have to be clowning around with
You're gonna be clowning around with their big giant scissors. Every time you hold something, and I have no idea if it's a real phone or if it's a prop. I don't know if those are real glasses. I don't know if that's a real sweater you're wearing. I don't know if that's. I have no idea what's what.
The mystery of it all.
The mystery of it all. So we're gonna turn over to Kimberly though. She's got some takeaways for us. What do you got for us, Kimberly?
All right, takeaways. To be humble is to be honest. Gratitude is the breeding ground for happiness. Acknowledge the wonder of Krishna. Stop and ask what went right. And pray for help, thanks, and wow.
Nice.
Oh, thanks. Wow, beautiful. What are you walking away with, Jamuna? What's your closing word?
My closing word. Well, you know, you can never go wrong with like, thanks. Thank you so much for showing up, because when you talk about these things, you're just reminded to do them even more. You're just reminded, I just said this, so I'm not going to now like drop it. I'm held accountable. And that's the only reason I like doing this kind of thing, is because like, it remind, you know, this is much for me. It is for me. And if you get anything from it. So yeah, my thankfulness to you, Dial, and for everybody that's listening. So.
Beautiful. Thank you. Pasha wrote in the chat that she's taken away that at an instant, Krishna can transform us. Flame emoji. I take when I'm appreciating, you know, just this right now, like you were saying, thank you. what a beautiful thing we have. What a beautiful gift I have, that I have the opportunity to know you as a friend and have a conversation like this. And every day be in the association of all these live Zoomers here who are tuning in regularly, Passion, Valdavy and Lane and Kimberly and Dane, both Dana's UNK and everyone else that's there. Too many to name right now. And all of you listening out there, what a beautiful, if you're wondering what went right, maybe this is what went right for you today. Maybe this is the only thing that's going right for you today, is the fact that you have the opportunity to tune in and associate with a beautiful person like Jamuna Jaya, and you're connected to everyone else who's listening to this podcast. And the voice of God is reaching out to you through this message and just saying, I'm with you and I love you. And we're in this together. And that although everything seems to be going wrong, maybe it's just because I have a skewed definition of what it means for things to be going right.
Yep.
And so this is just a small offering for you every day that we're here. We love you. We're grateful for you. You're not alone. Be in touch with us anytime. Reach out. Check out what else we got going on at the Bhakti Center. We've got community groups. We've got, I don't know what else we got going on. We got stuff going on.
Yes, executive director.
Executive director. Tune in to the Bhakti Center. We've got, let me check our website. No, we love you. We're grateful for you. We just want to be connected. Please be well. Please take care. Tune in next time, same place. I'll be flying solo tomorrow, but Jamuna Jai will be back with us on Friday. Next week, I'm confirming we got Brajarani with us next week.
Ooh.
And then the week after that, we got Vasudev. I got guests lined up. I've been busy lining up guests. And I know that you're going to have to be somebody that we invite back more often, Jamuna. So
well, happy to come.
We appreciate you. Please take care and be well, everybody. Bye-bye.